Side note here real quick. It seems like I forgot in the arm IK for the right arm, in the pole offset, I forgot to tell you to put in a multiply -1 because the x's are flipped on both sides. So we have to, on the L, we don't want a multiply -1. On the R, we want a multiply -1. On the leg, same thing. On the R, we don't want a multiply 1. And on the L, we want a multiply -1. But there we did it. Alright, there's really just one last thing we have to do, and that is the tail. Now for the tail, we have something relatively handy, but also kind of limited. So we kind of have to work this out. I'm going to just uncheck this here because we don't need to solve everything when we're working here. So first of all, I want you to introduce a new node here. Fit chain on curve. So basically what this does is exactly the same thing as we had in Blender, where we have a Bezier curve and we can drag things around. We can drag out items here and we can get an item chain. It's exactly the same as the items, where you just put in the items you want to deform, right? But it's just a from to. So, and we're going to use the tail, from the tail one to the tail, whatever the last one is. It's the same thing as the items, just a little bit tidier, quicker, right? Well, there we can already deform stuff. Now, if we unfold Bezier here, we have to get 4 positions. We only have 4 positions. Those 4 positions are going to be controls. First of all, we will have to set the controls. So we just create new spaces so we can set the controls. So make a space here, and we're just going to copy this 4 times. And we just F2 this here. And what do we call this? I don't even know. Tail underscore control 1. Because I don't exactly know on which bone it goes. Now control end, so we get a control in each of those spaces, and I'm just going to copy the name really quickly in there. Now, as we always do, we are going to set the controls, the spaces, so set them, disconnect this here real quick, and set, let's make some space there, and set, and set. With that, we can now set all the controls we need. Where do we want to set them? Kind of problematic. We just need to set them along the bone chain here. So just go into the tail, and I guess we can take a look at our creature here. I don't think we need one at the beginning here. So we go in a little bit in here. I don't know, tail 6 maybe. Let's just grab the tail 6, get, and we really just need a translation here. So I'm just only, where goes the next one? 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go a little bit in here. Maybe tail 1001, tail 1001, get and translate. And then we go a bit further in, maybe like tail 14. Right. And then we get like the last one here. Just let's get the last one, get, and set the translation there. Right, with that we have set the controls. We know where our things should go, and we can just plug this in here. And basically each point is going to be a Bezier handle here. So we just need to grab our controls here. Get, and get. Just unfold this. And we just have to set the positions of those basically Bezier handles. And once we set this in, and we hit compile, we can see it's breaking. Okay, interesting. So basically the first point has to be the first point, meaning we have to offset this a little bit. This is why I said we're a little bit limited, because we only can have 4 points, and this is a bit annoying, but you can see it's working there. You can deform the curve with it. So let's just offset this to the first one. Here we started with tail 6, so we're just going to start with our tail 1 instead, I guess. Yeah, and you can already see it's like working properly. Though they probably spawn a little bit offset. I mean, it doesn't matter really. It's just about the position. You can drag this back, it would not change anything, and then you can offset the axis here. Yeah, it's just for a clearer response where it should spawn. Let's move it a little bit back. Just type in tail, and go a little bit further here. There we go, this is okay. Tail instead of 14. Here we have 7, let's go kind of here. Yeah, and I guess we gotta live with that. There we go. We can now just simply offset this as we had in Blender. I guess it just gives us a little bit of a general control of the wave of it, but we cannot like curl it or anything, which I don't, well, there's also, you can see how it's stretching and whatever. There are some options here in the fit chain. Here, for example, instead of stretch, we can use font, and it's going to not like stretch overextend, you know. There's also a rotations option. So let's just create really quickly, just to, maybe we're going to do it properly. Let's see. We're just going to create a new control here real quick. Just a control, doesn't matter. Then we're going to like get it here and fold it, because we want to set a rotation, we just need a rotation. We can plug this in here, and I'm just going to visually move this out here, and then I can rotate this. You can see it's essentially working like the distribut rotation, it seems like. By the way, if your thing is snapping your rotation, if you click on a little arrow here, you can check and uncheck the rotation snapping. I just unchecked it really quick, and you can see we just, well, oh, some axis looks wrong, huh? This is maybe just because we didn't set the space yet properly. But this is this is interesting. Okay, you rotate one thing. Okay, well, you know what, let's do this properly, because I know the axes are wrong. Well, we got the control here, let's just make a space for that as well. Space, let's drop this in here, actually the wrong way around. The control onto the space. We just need to set the space here somewhere. Set the space, we should probably do this before the whole thing. So right here, plug this in here. Where do we want to set it to? I'm guessing good would be tail 1, so we have the tail 1 right here. We can, I guess, just drop this out here. And we want the whole transformation, because then the axis will align, hit compile. And it seems like we're currently using the global, but over here under the transform, we can change it to local. And unless we change it, it should also not change. So now, yeah, it's going clean, clean, the other axis clean, clean, and then we're wiggling it around. This is very interesting. This gives actually some very interesting results. So let's just imagine we would place this, right? So let's just, I don't know, create like a sort of, I don't like stretched, let's use font. Bendy tail here, I guess. Just further down then. And we would use this control now to rotate things. We can rotate this way, but as soon as we use this one axis makes it freak out, but also look very interesting. I don't know, it's not as clear what exactly it does, so I don't think this is very helpful, honestly. Was a little bit funny playing around, but I don't think this is something I actually want. But this gives me another idea. We could use make our own distribut rotation. We can keep this space and bone we just made, and let's rename this distribut rot tail. Same goes for that one here. Okay, distribut rot tail. We should probably rename this here distribut rot tail. And let's just change the control right away so we can actually see it properly. And we're making a circle, thick for now. Rotate 90 this here maybe, probably X, there we go. And let's make it like half of it or something. And we take a look at our self-made distribut rotation where we have it. All right, this should be relatively manageable. Maybe we can even do something with it. I'm going to do this, I'm going to solve this in front of the Bezier curve. So let's get a distribut rotation, plug this in here. Just going to ignore the rest of it from it for now. And the items we want to rotate are, let's just get a items, and let's get a chain here, probably far easier. Item chain. All right, and we want first of all to get the bones, so tail to tail. Then we need the rotators, so click plus here, and this will be the distribut rotation controller here. Get it, we just need a rotation, plug it in, compile, and we change this here to local. Hit compile. If we now rotate this, you can see we essentially get the same thing. But what I'm thinking is that we might be able to add the controllers to it, so the controllers will follow it. Yeah, pretty much the same thing, honestly, but I just want the controls to stay on where they are. So if I now move this, yeah, the controls don't quite stay where they should be. I wonder what it is. They should actually stay on there, but we can still deform it. I don't know why it's not solving it right away this way. It seems a bit more logical to me, because then the controls stay pretty much relative to where the space should be, and we can still deform it without a problem, you know. And we can make a frame around it, select it C, tail. Right, I'm just going to get my node back here, plug it in, and move my tail somewhere down there where we have some space left. Last one here. All right. And there we go. Now, obviously, we could clean this a little bit up. Maybe we are going to do this, but for now, I just want to check something. For example, up here, forward solve. I can change this to backwards forward solve and go over here, change this to use animation, get an animation. Now, the reason we're doing that is to check if any of our controls just break, okay? So then you can just hit default here, change this back to forward, I guess, and you can just take a look if any of your controls are missing. The other way is, I showed this before, just select this, delete it, And we can just drag in the control rig itself. Here on the sequencer, if you don't have it, just look through the window here and put in an animation. And we can, in theory, work with it. Alright, I'm going to delete this for now. We're going to cover the animations properly in one of the next videos. But maybe off camera, I'm going to like make this a bit more nice, like give the left side red and the right side blue or something. So just make this visually appear a little bit better by just selecting the controls and in the details panel here, just changing the forms and the color a little bit.